Hey, good morning. It's Uncle Bob here with Fly Fishing Mythbusters. Hey, some of my videos done out of my sailboat, and I wanted to explain all that. I moved to Texas about 20 years ago. I was going to work from home, and I did till I was 62. That was about 16 years ago. And then I retired at 62. And the first thing I did almost is I bought me a sailboat. Now, my wife and I sailed for a little while, and we can say we did it, but she lost interest pretty much, and she was my tiller queen. I needed her on the tiller. I can't really single-hand a boat as big as mine. I'm not that experienced a sailor, but I didn't despair at all because now my sailboat is my fishing platform. It's a cabin, I got water, I got power, and it's just so comfortable no matter what the weather is. I can go out to the marina. It's 15 minutes away if I avoid rush hour, and I got a fishing platform. And what do I fish for? Well, I've caught crappie and carp and buffalo and bass and catfish. Just depends on what I want to do that day. And the thing is, you need a sailboat, right, that has a lot of open water in front of you. And most sailors like open water because they back their boats out. But the truth of the matter is, these sailboats and these marinas, it's a boneyard. Nobody ever really does much. These guys will come out and poke around and look at the weather and go right back home. And some of them drive an hour away. So I think that buying an old sailboat, and sometimes you don't even need to buy them. They give them away. They demoed at least 20 in the parking lot of the marina I'm in the last year. They just smashed them to bits. They were all built in the 70s and 80s, and because they're so sturdy, those fiberglass boats, they stay around forever. Now, you don't need a trailer. You should have a motor with it because you might want to sell it, but I just pull the motor right off and store it in the shed because it just gets in the way of your fishing. I just think it's the greatest investment for a guy who wants to get away from the house because my wife had a bunch of her niece's kids here. She raised them until they could go to daycare, and there was like 3 in a row. That was 10 years right there. And they're still around, and they're great kids, and they're like our kids. But I needed a place to get away. And I worked from that boat. I could hold conference calls and do all the rest of the stuff that made it look like I was a productive employee. And I was. But man, that boat was just such a nice place to go all the time. Bad weather, you're down underneath in the galley, in a cabin. If you want to put some rods out, put some rods out. It is just such a peaceful situation. Now, I can't say that it's going to be that easy to find the right place and the right boat and the right marina, but heck, you ought to be looking around, especially if you're in Texas where all the lakes have big buffalo, and most of them have marinas, and most of the marinas have little sailboat sections, and I'm going to tell you, those places are going to be dead. I don't know what it is about sailing. It kind of comes and it goes, and it's gone from my marina for the most part. And that doesn't bother me at all because I'm just sitting there catching fish and listening to blues music. So that's really the message here is, it costs about $3,000 to keep a boat on the water in a slip a year. But, think about that, vacation home or any of that stuff, man. It's yours. You're never going to find somebody in your spot. That's what I want. I want to know when I get in the car, I'm going to be able to fish the way I want to fish for as long as I want. And that's what I got with this old sailboat of mine, and the motor's in the shed. There's no point in having an outboard if you're not going to fire it up. But I don't know. I think there's probably tons of opportunities there. And that's really what my channel is about, is finding your spots and then fishing for what's out there. So I hope this explains some of the stuff you see from my videos. I couldn't be happier with that decision to buy that. Bye.